Hi, all.
Hey, how you making out, man? Hey, I
It's
saw a dangerous thing, Matt. You was hanging out with Polar Bear.
I'm telling you. And boy, some of the wood he gave me, this choke cherry, it's just gorgeous.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm going to tell him to not put any of that in the fire. Well, what we did is we knocked, he's got a couple of dead trees down. Well, they're dead on his property. So we took his tractor and knocked 2 of them down and then cut them up. And it's pretty wood.
Yeah, it is. It turns so nice.
Oh, it's magical. I love it. It is great fun. And plus he's got the only living ash tree I've seen in Michigan in 5 years in his property. So I was like, he says, I'm going to cut it. I says, don't cut it. It's the only living one I've seen in 5 years. So I know it's cool. He's a great guy. And I really enjoyed the visit.
Right. I'm trying to get back to you guys. Hold on 1 second. I got to mute me. Y'all chat.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, Matt. You all right?
I'm good. It's been a good day. This is like my 3rd Zoom wood turning meeting today, so it's a good day.
There's plenty around. Oh, is that Katie? Katie's just joined us. Hiya, Katie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey,
It's going well. Eddie's just on a phone call.
Oh, okay.
He'll be back in a minute. Here's Johnny. Johnny's coming in. Mark's coming in. Hank's coming in. I'll keep letting them
show today.
I'll keep letting them in. Well, no, definitely not. I'm waiting for Eddie to come back on board. But he has made me co-host, so I figured I'd just jump in and bring some guys in for him.
That was a really good meeting earlier today, Martin. Great job.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, lots of good information.
Hey, Martin.
Yeah.
Doug Miller.
Who's that? That's Doug Miller. Hello, Doug.
Yes, sir. Show you this piece. You liked it awfully well.
Yeah.
But I thinned it a little bit. And it looks, I think it looks a ton better.
Yeah. Looks
I do
much better.
too.
They
Very
are.
nice.
They are. That's exactly what I was saying to you last time I was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You slimmed it a little bit down through
Yeah.
here, and it made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. You need to be pleased. You know, you almost that night, you answered your own question. You knew what you wanted to do with it. And I always say this, make it, stand it, look at it, change it, do whatever you need to do with it. The more you make it, the more you stand it, the more you look at it, and the more it'll come on.
And I knew it needed something. I was not positive what it needed, but that's, you know, we got it down where it needed to go.
That's
I kind of like that. I like that stem. I do.
That's
It's really
that's
nice.
a great looking finial, Doug.
Lot better. Well done. Very nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Thank you, guys.
Looks good, Doug.
And it doesn't really overpower the piece, which is a good sort of contrast.
Right. Yeah, before it was just a bit thick at the bottom, and I was on one of those things. Doug Rowe and I were on the phone where we could see each other, and we were talking while I was doing it. I could not get it back in the chuck to turn it, so I got it in there good enough so I could sand it. So I spent 20 minutes or so sanding that bottom portion, but it worked out just great.
Yeah, well worth the effort.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey, in tonight's workshop, Trey's going to show us a little bit about fitting up finials. Trey, help me out here. Trey, I see you there. I see you breathing. All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about fitting tenons together for, well, I can't remember the term. Let me see. He's having a little technical problems. Him on the phone a minute ago, he couldn't get locked in. I couldn't get there. Later on this evening, we're going to do, following David's recommendation last week, and David's one of our, he actually is our IT guy. he suggested we look at doing MailChimp for our emails. So we're going to put out a request or poll, see how you feel about it. That's how we got to work here or play here or whatever we do here. See what y'all really want, because this is your word turning to love. I'm not kidding about that. All right. I'm also trying to find let's go to unmute, mute upon entry. That's been clicked. All right. Got all that done. We've got a few other things on tap tonight. I have to tell you that in a few minutes, we have a special presentation or a policy statement concerning things happen on a program here. And that may be repeated a couple of times tonight because we don't want to leave anybody out. They say, I didn't know about that. So, and it's nothing major. I mean, just give me your car keys. It's all right. I had some interesting stuff that I put together in something I'm calling Tool Talk. See, I can speak. And it's weird and odd tools and things that I'm finding catalogs on the net, or you're sending them to me. And Ron and I were looking at videos the other day from a guy in Russia, and y'all may recognize this guy, but he's really a good turner. I mean, it's most of his work is done with jam chucks and barrel chucks, and he makes it look effortless. And he's using a gouge, and we have to ask you, what is this? How do you work this thing? And really, I've been playing with the idea of it. They thought I was crazy that I was sitting in the doctor's office and doing this because I'm trying to figure out where you're going to rub the bevel at in order to, if you can rub a bevel in order to get a cut. But it's one of those things, I'm coming to the experts right here to find out about it. Mind you, again, the Christmas Ornament Challenge is going on right now, and the Bottle Stopper Challenge is coming up for late fall. That's proposed. And then we're going to get to an ink pen thing. And, oh, Freedom Pens. Andy Phillips this week sent me a whole pile of Freedom Pens. That's Andy right there. He's out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And Andy sent me a box full of pens to go to the Freedom Pens program with Sergeant Doug Rowe handling, get them out. And that's nice. That's the third package I had this week. And I apologize. I get them and I'm repack them and I'm sending off to Doug. And in my organization world, there is no organization world. Sometimes I misplace where the names of these folks are. I heard from a guy today called and asked me, did I keep one or two of the pens for me? I'm a has-been troop. I need to respect the people that are protecting our way of life right now and protecting our freedom. And that's why I do Freedom Pens. In fact, I went through last year and cleaned out drawers full here that I've been collecting over the years. Just because how many ink pens do you need? Anybody got anything up a challenge? I got like 5 minutes before I have to do something. I have to do it. I'm wondering what you guys are turning, whatever. Press the space bar. Press the space bar and then tell me. And you'll pop up.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey,
Doug
man,
Miller.
how you doing?
Doing good, Eddie. I don't know. It's been a couple months ago now. I requested one of the bearings and sleeves for those inertia sanders that you sell.
Yeah.
There, knocked that out tonight, and it took me about 15 minutes. We got a nice little.
I got a spotlight it, man.
Okay, you're there.
There
There
you
you
go.
are. But there you have a inertia sander with got a bronze sleeve and a magnetic bearing in the bottom. Holds that little booger just as slick as a ribbon and just stands right away.
It does. And whatever you do, don't oil it.
No need to oil it.
No. Oh, got people who have to spray that WD stuff on things because they think it'll go faster. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to talk bad about those folks anymore.
But it's, I just made it so the handle felt good in my hand in a couple of positions. I can get up close or a little further away. And I wanted it straight. That was very intentional. May be ordering another one so I can put one at an angle on this back end. But right now. That's what I needed. So there we go.
They do work great, and people say I like using a drill or a sander. What you have right there, Doug, you have control over.
Yes.
Absolute positive control. You don't have to worry about overrunning it or scratching it across.
Right.
Because
Right.
what you're feeling is that when I use mine, I make contact at about 7 o'clock on the clock.
Yes. Right.
And it will self-propel itself and clean itself. Talk about save sandpaper.
Absolutely. And this has got the 2-inch pad in it right now. I've got a series of 1-inch pads for getting down into like the bottom of vases and that kind of thing. It'll just work beautifully for that.
I used to use nothing but the 3-inch until I bumped into 2-inch by ordering the wrong stuff one time, and
Yeah.
I won't go back. That's just it.
Yeah. 2-inch is just so convenient.
Stay down there.
Thank you, Doug, and some beautiful work
Thank you.
coming in the last couple of days. Anybody else got anything to talk about? Share and let's locate. I got.
Mike.
Hey, Mike Morris is here.
Yes, sir. I was wondering where do you get those little sanding pads that that go on there like the Velcro ones?
I know a great source, and we're going to cover that in a few minutes.
Okay.
But I know a great source because the guy's got it soft back, hard back, with pads, with fillers or density.
Uh-huh.
You want to look for somebody that does that, and that's going to be a true sanding company, not the catalog companies.
Right.
We're talking about somebody that just sells sandpaper or knows sandpaper, because if you call a catalog service and want some good sandpaper, they take you to the top of the list, really. But
Right.
if you call somebody that makes sandpaper, you might stop about halfway up, because it depends on what you're doing and what you're sanding and how you're sanding. If you're using a pistol drill with a pad in it, you're going to eat up some paper. It's going to clog off on you. But
Right.
we're going to cover that matter about recommendations in just a few moments. But straight out, I'd go find me somebody that sells sandpaper that knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Can I comment on that?
I'm sorry?
Can I comment on that?
Sure, go ahead. Comment all you want.
All right, let me switch to a different camera here and show the overhead view. Klingspor sells these pads. This is from Klingspor.
Uh-oh.
And this they sell them.
Wait, Billy, you can't do when the guy's explaining, okay?
Now, if you don't want to spend it on Klingspor, you can make them. This is a washer. This is a bolt. This fits in my drill. I just, put a little bead on here. Epoxy works. You can buy the foam itself. You want closed cell foam, dense foam, and glue the Velcro on yourself. Make them any size you want. So I do both.
Good. All right. Yeah, that's an idea. When I was looking to do, when I was doing more cowboy hats, I wanted the 1-inch, because when I take it off the lathe, I need to power it. And I was powering with a little bitty drill, sort of like a Dremel, but maybe a little bit bigger. And I was trying to get down to the flutes and all that, and went to that 1-inch pad. I had to make my own disc. When you call somebody, they don't make that. You make the disc once you make the pads. So you learn by error. Unfortunately, it doesn't hurt us too bad when you do.
Yeah, I tried a bunch of different glues on my pads, and the glue I settled on that worked the best for me, at least in the shop, was this E6000 industrial craft glue. I tried a super glue. I tried epoxy. That E6000 handles the stress best.
And I find that doesn't melt.
Right.
Sometimes you'll find a glue that it looks great, but when you start sanding with it, it goes right across the room because it melted or dissolved.
Velcro and
Yeah, for sure.
We hear you, Dane. Say again.
I said a mouse pad, Velcro, and the E6000.
A mouse pad? What is a mouse pad? How old are you?
For your padding.
What I used is exercise mats. You can buy a pack of 5 of them at Walmart, and it's the puzzle piece mats. Cut those into discs, glue them together with shoe glue, You can put you can either epoxy or use a good glue of your choice and epoxy a washer on the back, but then I epoxy a old drill bit, or you could also use rebar or threaded bar like Matt uses. Come across that surface with a skew to the size you want, get the Velcro, attach that with the shoe goo, and you can virtually make any size sanding disc for pennies, just by buying those. We all have old drill bits lying around that we're not going to use. We probably have some washers in the box of random bits and leftover screws and washers from home jobs. So it's pretty inexpensive to make them for sure.
It is, and it's a shop-made tool that's so important to some folks.
Yeah.
It's important to me. If I can build it, I want to have it.
I even use.
I hear one Billy. What?
Oh, yeah, it's to unmute himself.
I said I've even used the soles off of an old pair of tennis shoes to make my sanding discs that I put in a drill.
Wait a minute, Billy. You've worn out tennis shoes?
Oh yeah.
We have an honesty policy here. Come on. There are some other types of rubber padding that is available out there, but you're absolutely right. You have to go out of the norm. The sporting section and the exercise section's got some of that stuff. And if it flexes too much, you can always increase the support plate or the backup plate. Most commercial discs use a piece of black rubber. Well, that black rubber is available too. And all you have to do is check the hardware store. They'll have it, or you can cut it out. I built some this year. So
you could use plexiglass too as a backing.
That's cool.
Would work well.
So you had some leftover plexiglass. All right.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
you would attach the exercise mat to the plexiglass so you have a stiffer backing to attach your drill bit or the arbor that goes into the drill. That's sort of
That's
what
a good idea. Hey, we're solving problems already. Let me be brief here, folks. And I ask that you not interrupt this. This whole program started just about a year ago. It'll be a year next week. And we created this with one intention. And I want you to listen to this and understand what we're doing, because it's the policy we started with, and it's the one we want to keep going with. And we think it'll work best. Uh-oh. I thought I had it open right here. I got to go back to it and look for it. I'll be doggone. I had it open, and now it's not there. I tell you what, I'm going to find it and put it up here, and then we'll do this. It's regarding the use of commercial names and sponsorship and all that. I'll go back to it. While I'm working on that, who's got what?
Yeah, I got something ready.
What's that, Dave?
Got this board. I think who was it? Doug last week showed Velcro with the pads.
Yeah.
So I just took his idea and I put both my small and 2-inch pads on the board and 3-inch. It's a simple board you get from Michael's.
I did that
I
with
appreciate it. Thank you.
I spent way too much money with using a metal yardstick. Then later on, I discovered the yardstick was worth a whole lot more than I was saving on the sandpaper. So, but thank you, sir. Appreciate the update on that. I'm going to check something real quick now and see if I can get back to that virtual background. And it will not come up on me. I'm popping around here, folks, and it's not there. And I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me see if we can do this. Nope, nope, that's not it. You know what? Let me just tell you how this works. Worldwide Wood Turners created just over a year ago with one thought in mind. That thought was a wood turning club for everybody. The intent was fairly simple. We'd create an organization of wood turners who wish to share ideas, projects, turnings, and even their problems. Furthermore, we'll be free of the bindings of the almighty dollar by being completely self-supportive. This simply means that we'll not require or support the expense of registration, membership dues, magazines, or any other charge. We're based on the support of our membership and their commitment to wood turning. Now, being free of financial support is one bold move. Worldwide Wood Turners created this policy, and we've persevered by the donations of time, labor, and other resources by our members. We can't more connect the dollar amount to this support. It was done with the belief that we could accomplish what some people thought was impossible. Recently, one of our team members read a statement from our organization concerning the advertisement of wood turning meetings, publications, events, all which are pay-per-view. The statement was made to clarify the policies of this absolutely free wood turning club. Worldwide Wood Turners will not permit advertisement of such events, either on a program or in a chat feature of the program. Now, we welcome the involvement of professional turners, demonstrators, all these other folks. They've all come to aid, and we really appreciate it. And they support our policies. We don't look for commercials. We look for support. Now, this practice is in line with our core beliefs, and we hope you understand and go along with us. If you have any opinion whatsoever, I'd like to hear from you. The club's got an email address, and it's worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, and we'd like to know about it. All right, I got that out the way because for some reason I screwed up the little plug that would put that on the air and can't get there. Oh, I said something about pay-per-view stuff. I'm invited to one tomorrow night by a club, not pay-per-view. I'm invited tomorrow night at a club in Texas for their monthly meeting, and it's open door. And the Magnolia Club in Mississippi, I think they're Mississippi, Magnolia's sliding. Well,
they're in Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, okay. I've been there, but I couldn't remember what was that. They're doing a program in a couple of days, and the door is open. And I'm running across a lot of free demos on Zoom. Now, here's the deal. We're an organization that is self-sufficient, self-supportive. If you know of a place to where, and not just me, but Dick or Larry or Ray or Gerald or any of these guys can go to get a free, not a pay-per-view, a free demonstration or attend a club meeting to see what other people are doing, we want to know about it. We really do. You can send it to us by email. You can put it on our Facebook page, Worldwide Wood Turners, or whatever. Just got to let us know, and we will share it with people each week. Now, if we'll get enough, we'll create a little sheet that gives all the information and all that. But mainly what you need is what, where, and when. And you got to have that link for the access code. And then we'll share it with folks. That's real important. I mean, every day I get somebody calling that says, can you do this? Can you do that? And can we sponsor this or sponsor that? There's no sponsors. We're about to take a break for the commercial right now. All right, who's got something there for show? I said, boy, lift up.
I do.
Wow, is that you, David?
From Michigan, yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
I have 3 items here that I've been making that I would like to show.
Sure. I'm trying to get you in here, David. Go, just keep talking. If you're talking, we can see it.
All right. I've made this from scrap wood that I collected over the years.
Nice scrap.
In the bottom. And then I made this. You guys were talking about aluminite the last couple of weeks ago or something. This is what I made with a bowl that went along with it.
Wow.
of pencils, colored pencils.
Doug Rowe, eat your heart out. That's a good looking one. I like the spacing. I really do.
How did you get to spacing like that, Dave?
Well, you glue it onto artificial, well, sacrificial piece of wood in the center, and then you glue them on, and then you just space them out certain ways. As you turn it around, you get it all spaced out equally.
That's nice. That really is a nifty idea.
Yeah. And then I made this here of luminite. It's bracelet, and you have pictures of history of different pictures that you've collected over the years. But if you look real close, what the picture on the outside, there's the same picture on the inside.
Wow.
So that was a little bit difficult to come out with illuminate.
It is beautiful. You don't have that many grandkids, right?
Well, no, I don't have any kids. I never had any children, and I don't have any grandkids. But you can do a theme bracelets like this here, and what you do is you put 6, maybe 14 different pictures, and then you put it on the computer, and then you shrink it down to just a picture of each one of the faces.
Wow, that is a nifty idea. It really is.
So if you, like I said, if you look closely, you can see the same picture on the inside.
Yep.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it, sir. All right, and we get that spotlight off. You know, jewelry, no matter how silly you think it might be, and I know guys that say only turn bowls, because they can't do jewelry. It's not that they don't want to, they can't. Think about turning a set of earrings. I'm not wearing mine tonight. Turning a set of earrings that will be proportionately right size, the right weight, the right thickness, and the right color. And then somebody throws a wrench in it and says, can I laminate it or segment it and all this? You know, you talk about build your skills. That'll do it. We're going to do a little more about that, maybe turning a couple of bracelets and rings, because rings is, I have found a couple of ways to cut some bucks off of making rings. Anybody else up for gallery tonight?
Yeah, I got something. Kim.
Uh-oh, I see Kim. Is that Kim got something?
Yes, she does.
All right, Kim, you're up. That's you.
Okay. So
Oh, okay.
You were in the Army?
no, a coworker of my husband's, her husband served in the Army. He retired and then went back in when 9/11 happened. And then he served, I don't know, another however many years. And he recently passed away. And all of these shell casings are the shell casings from the 21 gun salute. So she asked me if I could do something special with them. She had 14 of them. I was able to make 3 platters. So this is just one of 3. The larger one has 5 of the shell casings and the other 2 only have 4. And then I just resined some stars in white and put those in there. It was kind of a challenge to get them lined up right and then pour clear resin. I'm not finished with this one yet. This one still needs sanded down and another coat put on. Usually the first coat always shows me that there's something on it to where I need to coat it again. I had a challenge with these though, because I can't put resin on them or super glue. It causes the dye and the patches to bleed. So just to warn you, if you want to use this kind of idea, the best patches to use is to get a hold of Doug or somebody else who works to where they can get the waterproofed ones that don't bleed if they get wet. These patches are pretty much seals. They're not official patches from what Doug told me. So that's why they are not waterproof. But so I'm just going to CA glue it in just like that. I'm not going to resin them in or anything. I think they'll look just fine. And of course, these aren't going to be used. These are for, you know, pass along as a memory thing for the family. So I don't think it's necessary to coat it with anything. But yeah, that's that. Whoops.
It's a really pretty piece. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate you sharing.
Very pretty.
Really.
You may be able to spray it with shellac or something to seal it to make them waterproof.
I had originally purchased just 3 of these, and the first one got ruined by me trying to resin it. The second one got ruined by me trying to glue seal it, and then I sprayed lacquer on it, and it left a real hazy. And in order for me to saturate it enough to where it would get into the fibers, it started to bleed just with the lacquer. So the denatured alcohol and the shellac, or even just the shellac, anything wet getting on it, it just destroys the color. It makes it bleed. So I show that in my video this week about how I tested some things on it and totally failed. So I just decided I would leave it just the way it is. And
How about Scotch Guard?
Scotch Guard, I thought about that. I think the problem with it is there's no, once I seal it with whatever, there's no guarantee that the resin one is going to stick to it. Right. You know, once you seal that, then it's like, you don't know if that, because there's certain things that resin won't stick to. It'll just separate like oil and water. I mean, oils on your fingers can affect how the resin actually sticks. So I think my fear is coating it and then having to sand it down and then getting into the fibers of that. So I figured I don't have time. For one, I have to get my video up this week and get done with them. And for another, that would be, these patches are $5 on eBay, and I've had to buy 6 of them. So this project is getting unaffordable. So yeah.
That looks great.
Packing tape on top? Could you put packing tape on it, and then that would keep the moisture out of it, and then seal it over top of that?
Packing tape.
Packing tape. Like Scotch tape on the heavier pack.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I'm like the tape queen, according to my friends.
I mean, if you put a coat of packing tape on top of it, then the moisture wouldn't go through it. And if you could seal it on top of put it in there, and then put your resin on top of that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like encase the seal itself in something and then resin it.
Yes.
Yeah. With something like this, I mean, these are the original shell casings that were shot out of the weapons during the funeral. I already have some air bubbles in here that I was just so frustrated about. These are irreplaceable. So if something happens to this piece, and it's not one of those like you can go and experiment things, at least in my mind, I'm kind of limited on experimenting because of that purpose. So yeah, that's definitely a good try for something, a good idea for something later on, because I guess because of the sensitivity of what this piece means, it's kind of hard to say, yeah, I'll try that. So
maybe you could even use laminating, laminate like you would a piece of paper.
Yeah, I do have a laminating machine.
And seal it and see if you can seal that in there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that because the laminator heats it to it. So it would really suck it tight to it. That's a good idea. I might try laminating one of the ones that I ruined to see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Appreciate it.
It's absolutely beautiful, Kim. Dane is handling our gallery. Dane, you got somebody up on a pad?
Yeah, we got 5 or 6 people. So let's jump over to Chuck Slatterly.
All right. Wow. Now, was that Chuck's work or you?
There he is.
There it is.
All right. Hey, Chuck, what you doing, bud?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
All right.
I'll let this guy talk. No, I'm not. You got to come here. So he was big on wanting to turn. No, turn it on. Come here. He wanted to go out and try a lathe, and he bugged me for a couple of days, and we finally got out there. We're doing some work around the house, so it's kind of tough to get out there, but we made time. And he made something. I held his hand, but he did hold the tool, and I just made sure like it didn't kick or catch and fly up on him. So he did this. He turned this, and this is a piece of scrap wood, and then we painted it up, and then he said he wanted you guys to see this too.
Oh, it's really nice.
Hold on.
It is. Chuck, we have to teach you something the right way.
It glows in the dark. Hold on. It glows in the dark. He wanted you to see it glow in the dark. There you go. There you go.
Oh, cool.
That's really awesome. Good job.
Yeah. Now, Chuck, we got to warn you, we don't use the term scrap or junk wood. We don't use that term.
Well, it was just a piece of lumber that was headed for the dumpster on a job site.
It was
I
future
rest-
current
What is-
wood unused. So
What's
Chuck,
that?
what is your son's name?
Lucas.
Lucas. Very good job, Lucas. Keep it up. That's awesome.
Great.
That's all we had. He's trying to watch a movie, and he's like, call me when they do the showcase so I can show him. So,
all right, go back to your movie, Lucas.
yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Eddie, let's jump down to Australia and see what Donald's got to show us.
Okay, you can click up Donald. And hey,
Yep.
man, Donald, you're with us.
This is my first attempt at doing a tool handle. It's out of a bit of an old pallet, but it had beautiful grain.
Okay, pull it back towards your face and hold it up, sirs. There we go. Oh, that is pretty. What do you have on it for a furl?
Just a bit of copper pipe.
Okay. Saving money all the way around. No fancy handle. You got to put your hand around it, not slip off the end and not slip up the front. And that's what's the important thing.
Also, my first dealing with finishing with CA glue. I couldn't get any Parfix because I can't find anybody in Australia that sells it. But it's Loctite 501.
Very
Just
nice.
one
Donald.
quick note.
You know, if you can work it, it's a product that you should use. If you know its limitations and you know it's what you expect out of it, you can work it. And because everything in the world's got one step easier, just ask anybody. But I really like that. And I like that it doesn't look like it's in glass. It looks smooth and good color. It must feel great. What do you have in it for a tool? You won't go that far. All right. Scraper type cutter. Okay. Good. Thank you, Donald. Appreciate it, sir. All right. Dane,
So thin, you can still feel the wood through it.
Good.
What wood is it? Huh?
Bruce is up from Tennessee.
I have a Walrus Usick barreled pen.
All right, say that one more time because you lost me.
I have a Walrus Usick barreled pen.
And I know what that is.
That right?
Excuse me?
Are you going to explain that?
It's PG.
I know what it is. I have one. I lived in Alaska.
OOSIK.
It is pretty.
And you give it to a woman, and then you explain to her what it is, and be careful because she's going to drop it.
So that's like real wood.
No, it's not. It's not wood. It's wood.
That is one beautiful piece, Donald. Bruce, thank you for sharing it with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really straight, Bruce.
That's great. Very nice.
Hey, you got somebody else up on deck there, Dane?
Sure, we're going to jump over to Yoakum. Let me find him here and spotlight him.
Folks, the way this works is you put it in chat that you want to show something. That's what we're working. And then Dane will get to you in the order that you get into the chat, and he will click you up just like Joachim is right now, and he's on.
Okay. Joaquin, okay, gotcha.
Joaquin Martin. I'm from North Carolina. I have this beast. Hang on. This is 12 inches at the bottom, 8.5 at the top. It weighs about 3 pounds. It's a monster. Had a challenge from a customer. She wanted a dog food bowl holder. And what she wanted, this is 6 inches high. She wanted it 12 inches high, which may be more than my Laguna 1216 can handle. This took a lot. There's a lot of torque involved with this much weight in wood. But took me 3 days to get here, and I'm pretty proud of it. It was a lot of work.
It is beautiful. A very nice finish.
Thank you. It's just
Did you
OB
sign the
shine
bottom
juice,
of it?
and it's just OB shine juice and a brand of paste wax.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Over to Dennis.
Dennis, you're up, Dennis.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. I don't have Dennis' name. There he is.
Is he up now?
Yes. Well, he was a second ago.
All right, I'm right here.
Don't touch
All right.
any buttons, Dennis.
All right, this is an order a lady made. It's a cat feed bowl. It's made of Osage orange, and I've got it sprayed with polyurethane on the outside, and I've got it food grade on the inside for the cat. It's Osage orange.
Wow,
The
that's really nice.
next one I have, this is a candy dish, and it's made of red gum and Congo Alves. Gonco Alves.
That's really nice. And what do you have a finish on it?
Yes, I've got beeswax oil on it.
Okay.
And my last item, I got 3 cremation vials. They wouldn't be making little vials. They can either use it for with the key rings or on a necklace. And this gentleman his father passed away and wanted to have little vials made for his children. And you just open them up and put the ashes in, and had a little vial, either a necklace or a keychain. And 3 of those.
Work, Dennis.
Those are Ambrosia maple.
Thank
Dennis, Dennis, how do you secure the tops?
They're pressed in. It's just like an ink pen. You have a little tube. You put your tube in and turn it, and then you press the parts in. And it's got a screw top. And what the gentleman's going to do, he's going to put the ashes in, put a little bit of glue on the top, and screw them on so they can't come open.
Cool. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Real nice. Thank you, sir. We got to remind you folks, we have a no but guarantee. If you see something on this program, you can comment on it, but there is no buts permitted. You can't say, I like that but, or you got a good finish on it, but no deal, no deal. We keep going back to this, to what you see online, because that's where we are online. And today I was bouncing around on the internet and I ran across a guy turning something. And I sent a copy of it to Ronnie. Said, take a look at this. And I gave him the timestamp and said, look at what was happening at this time. And we both looked at it, and that's why we're here. The guy was using his tools absolutely wrong. If there was any worse way to use the tool, I don't know it. But that's why we're coming to you, because I don't want to mention who this is, because it might be embarrassing to him, but use of the tool and how you slice and cut and gouge and scrape. We see Donald just now had a scraper that had an adjustable teardrop sort of head on it. They're excellent, but you got to put the edge back on after you use it a couple of times, make a couple of passes, because it's a scraper. And same thing when you use a skew, you got to ride the bevel and slice it out. You just can't go straight in. But I'm looking for demos from you folks. I'm looking for it. It can be off your cell phone, off your iPad, off your computer. I spent money over the years on real nice disc recorders. You know what? It all comes out the same. So if you can do a demonstration for us to show us how to use a tool or a jig or a rig or whatever, we want to see it. It's 10 minutes after the hour, and in just about 5 minutes or so, we're going to go to Dane for our program today. And if you're with us, you're with us. We are pretty much at the maximum of the program we can do right now with 100 participants. I'm working with Zoom to see if we can change it. They added some features we can have, but the size didn't grow. And we're working on that so we can have more turners join us. Anybody, you got anybody else up, Dane, right now?
Yes, sir. We got 3 more. So let's jump to David Leader. Let's see. Got him. Spotlight. Go ahead, Dave.
No sound, David.
All right, we got a red cedar bowl. And if you're familiar with how red cedar grows on the outside, it has, almost looks like branches going around the trunk. And so these smileys here are the actual bark. So the shape of the bowl I took just from what it gave me. So it's
Nice.
a little different shape with a base like this. But yeah, and I finished it with mineral oil and Parflex.
Nice,
Great.
David. Nice.
Spot on.
Who else you
All
got,
right.
Dane?
Let's see. We're going to jump to Rick Barnes. Rick, I'm getting ready to spotlight you.
This is what co-hosts do, folks. I can't drive the bus and see where we're going at the same time. So we're bringing our co-host, and they'll take your information. They watch our recording, which is happening right now, and that goes to David, who puts it on our website. What you got, Dane?
Well, I'm looking for Rick, and I don't see him on here anymore.
Talk, Rick.
I'm here. I'm here, Captain Eddie.
There you go.
Okay, you got me?
I got you.
There we go. I don't know how this is going to show up. This is on my cell phone, but along with what Kim showed, this is a 4-inch solid brass medallion that my brother brought to my shop. Wanted to know if I could put that into something. It was to go on his casket, and it went with him. But I get these from our local friendly mortuary here in town, and they come in all the military branches, and the Army is stunning. The Air Force is really an attractive with the coloring in it, but they're a little on the expensive side, but you pay for what you get, and you can do anything with you want to. This walnut platter, I used a shine juice on it and got a lot of compliments and got a lot of orders from it. So that's what I had tonight. Thank you.
Rick,
Appreciate
where
it.
did
Thank
you
you.
where did you get those medallions from?
They come from a local mortician here in my hometown. She gets them through Batesville Casket Company.
Batesville
Go to
Casket.
Batesville, Batesville. They're here in Batesville, Indiana. And you can go to their website, and I believe there's a link to show these medallions. But they are stunning. They're beautiful. They're heavy. They come on a little magnet stand to put on a metal casket. And my brother had a wooden casket, so we put this on a walnut platter for him. So
I appreciate you showing that, because that may be an alternative to my issue.
All right.
I hope it is, because, like I say, they're a little bit more expensive than your $5 patch there, but I think they're well worth the money for the beauty and the weight of them.
And the lasting, I'm concerned about it lasting.
Now, all the services also have coins for service coins, so they're the size of a silver dollar type coin that all of them make. So those are also available.
Yeah, I'm an old ammo troop, and the ammo troops in the Air Force have a service ring or whatever, and it cost me $5 or $6 to support the organization. So
those are called
Kim just
challenge
put up
coins, by the way.
.com note. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Yeah, those are called challenge coins. They're available for any branch of the service, and they are quite attractive.
Okay, challenge coins, and the email, email or the website for that is Kim posted on our chat. Here's the deal, and I'll remind you every week: before you leave, copy chat. To go to the chat box and press the little square of the 3 dots and save chat. But do it just before you leave. We have Trey in a bullpen tonight to do a demonstration for us. Trey, are you ready?
Let me unmute my. Okay. The first thing I want to do is finish up from last week on how I spray my ornaments. And I've set this up on the side of the shop. I have a sliding glass door. I hang them on little hooks across the rod. And I use a big spray gun. Now, I keep lacquer in it all the time. But this is all I do to spray. And those are finished. And after that, let's see if I can turn the. I hang them up there to let them dry.
The lacquer makes them look like they're glass is what we're looking for.
It leaves a really good finish for ornaments. Ornaments usually do better with a high gloss on them, as far as I'm concerned. So,
okay,
and that's a finish up from last week. Now let's go ahead and get into the. And I use a high quality touch-up spray gun. I found it atomizes the spray better than the lower quality gun. So I had a lower quality gun before and I was getting running issues and that kind of stuff. And I very seldom ever have any problem with runs using this gun. Okay. Subject for tonight is finials. I'm gonna show you how to turn a finial in the time zone. Here's some sample finials. We're gonna try to fall off of there. Here's some samples that I've done. And this is a standard design that I do on my finials. That one's a little bit longer, more intricate, different color on it, and again, a different shape. But we're gonna go with one similar to this is what I usually put on most of my stuff. What I've done is I like the part of adding an accent to it. So I've turned a 1/2 inch spigot tinted on here. I've taken a piece of exotic, and in this case, this is black palm. Slice it on my bandsaw, sand one side flat, and drill a 1/2 inch hole in it, stick it in there, and then glue it up. Just like this. Socket works real well over it to put pressure on it. What that does for me, and I did it to start with, is a lot of times you're trying to get into something bigger. This is a smaller diameter. You actually can use a piece of 3/4 inch standard material, one inch standard material, and use it for finials, even if you have to have a bigger size onto it. I found on the palm, I got to soak it with super glue because it breaks out so badly, but most woods don't. Now, let's look at design, talk about design. Let's see how this fits in there. Oh, okay, yeah, that fits. What a finial looks better if you can make it go from a larger size down to a pointed size. Not having anything jump out on it, keep it within inside a set of boundaries. It can be a curved or straight line, but it looks better if you do that to the finial. Also, I transition the smaller points. There's a secondary line in here that runs back up to those smaller points. Do I always get it? No, but you know, that's what I strive for is to go from small, larger, and larger here, and also increase the size as we walk back through it. So let's get the turning one. This is a piece of red palm. And I'm gonna chuck it back off of here just a little bit. And the reason why is the back section of this is not perfectly flat, and I need to flatten that out before I do anything. So Make sure it turns freely. Oh, before I go any further, let me cover one other item. Nope, wrong size. I want to talk about the tools. This is a spindle gouge. It's sharpened similar to, I got this sharpening from Mark Chalet. So it's Mark Chalet's grind on there. And it's a deep slope back, real shallow gouge. And it's not hollow ground, it's concaved out. And I'll use those two different sizes. Usually one size is all you need. A standard spindle gouge. Sometimes use a Beaded on it. It works well on some parts of it. And a parting tool. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna round this off a little bit here. And the main thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get a good flat surface on the back for the chuck to ride against. Okay, now I have a good surface for that chuck to ride against. Remember, I just sliced it off on the bandsaw. I didn't even have a jig or anything on it. I just hand held it and pushed it across there. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm bringing up the tailstock so I can get some bulk removal and to remove some material. Okay, it's some basic material, and I do have a minor problem with this. I'm not sitting against my chuck, and I'll get more vibration if I don't fix that right now. Okay.
While you're
Okay,
fixing that, I mentioned that we just got another input on the chat about those metals. Somebody else kicked in a source for them for the plates and placards and stuff. No, I'm sorry, Trey.
Okay, no problem. I'm trying to get a good fit here because that helps to reduce the vibration on it. Okay, and pull a gouge out that with Mark's spindle gouge grind on it. Oh, before I go any further, let's show you the basic cuts on the gouge. One is just going to be a V cut. Another one's going to roll over and follow that. Then there's two peeling cuts. One of them comes back in this way, and the other one is a little straighter like that coming into it. So those are some of the basic cuts that you're going to see. One other that I'm going to do down here at the bottom, and let me zoom back in on this a little further. Oh, too far. No, that's better. Okay, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna pull at the same time. So I'm coming in and pulling towards it. Now the next cut is going to come back here. It's going to come back in the opening, and it's going to come do the same thing. And that's a cut I'm going to do down here at the very, very bottom. But I'm just showing you the cut. And with my hand, I'm sort of pulling it as I go through and do that. So.
And you're doing that cut as it goes deeper, Trey?
Excuse me?
As you go deeper, you're pulling?
Yeah, as I go into the cut, I'm sort of squeezing my hand to pull it over.
Got it.
So I'm actually, on the right-hand side, I'm cutting. Left-hand side, I'm scraping into the V.
Thank you.
But it makes a very see if the camera focus. No, it's not going to focus that in. It makes it very, very, that's a very clean cut in there from it. It does very well in giving a clean cut. And I'm going to do that at the bottom. I do this down here in the very bottom part of the finial. Now, as you get closer to the center, you literally, there's almost no motion. It virtually stops. Okay. Putting a little cove down here at the bottom. Make it a heavier cut than normal. But make a little small cove there. Now, I just recently found this, so I like it. It's a little finial rest in there. It has a small bearing in the end of it.
Where did you find that?
It's made by Rubber Chucky.
He calls it the finial Chucky.
Oops, see, KB jumped in there right away.
I'll pull it off and let you see it at the in the end. And I'm pulling back as I do that. But you can see what it's doing. Now when I back it off, you can see the difference. And I just started using that this week. First time I've used it. But it's been allowing me to make a little heavier cuts without getting as much vibration. Now, I like to put the top of that design about 2/3, and then I have 1/3 at the very, very top of it. So this part right here, just a V cut. I'm gonna make an onion shape at this part of it. And I'm cutting right here at the edge of it. It's acting almost like a skew as it goes across the wood.
Making slices rather than gouges.
It is slicing it. I'm doing the same thing, but going the other direction, just trying to take some bulk off of it. Give me an idea where I'm going to.
Now that's running just like a skew would run.
That's exactly what it's doing. If you look at it, it's approaching the wood about 45 degrees.
For new turners, folks, that's the smoothest way to cut it. Less vibration and less tear out.
Roll that into that side. Okay. This is I'm gonna bring this down a little bit bigger than here, but bring it on down. Get some. I'm just getting rid of bulk. And inside of a cove, you're pushing up into it, cutting to the bottom of a cove. And I got to.
Trey, got a question. How fast are you running the machine?
Pretty high speed. I'm close to the top speed of it. Not quite, but close to it. Since the diameter is so small, the higher speed helps. Okay, now I will come back. This is 220. Am I cheating? Yeah, but you know. And that'll even out any of the bumps on the big parts. $320. Okay. It's turned. Now, that spindle, that little Chucky leaves a little mark on here, but it sands out pretty easy.
I like your steady rest.
Sand. Where are you talking? Oh, my finger?
Yeah. I got 10 of those.
It works. Okay. And for tonight, that's what we're going to do. Next week, I'm going to talk about how I interface this, and we'll put these different items onto vessels and stuff. Now, I can rechuck this in here, move it in like this, rechuck it, and finish this top section off to make it match match the vessel that I'm putting it in. Most of my hollow forms, I use a 1/2 inch hole on it. Smaller size hollow forms, I have a 1/4 inch, and I'll turn, I don't have the additional wood on those. They're smaller pieces. But next week I'll show about 4 or 5 different vessels and stuff like that I put it in.
All right. Thank you so much, Trey. That was a very good demonstration. Okay, now, guys, time to applaud. We really appreciate that. And we're going to continue this. This is part of our Christmas ornament challenge. Things like this can work into Christmas ornaments, boxes, bowls, pivots, stuff. But this is why we're here. And I got to back up a little bit because I had a private message that said, can we ask you folks, members, to give us your input back on those sanding pads? If you can do a little sketch, if you got a photograph or whatever, send it to us. We want to be able to share that. That is a skill builder and a money saver. And that's what we're looking for here tonight, or every week we do this. I have to do this. I got to set up now, folks, because I was so slow I couldn't find the right button. So with the right button, we're going to do this. Hi, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I have a statement concerning our wood turning club. Worldwide Wood Turners was created just over a year ago with one thought in mind: a wood turning club for everybody. The intent was fairly simple. We would create an organization of wood turners who wish to share their ideas, projects, turnings, and even problems. Furthermore, we'll be free from the bindings of the almighty dollar by being completely self-supporting. This simply means that we'll not require or support the expense of registration, membership dues, magazines, or any other charge. Worldwide Wood Turners is based on the support of our membership and their commitment to wood turning. Now, being free of financial support is one bold undertaking. Worldwide Wood Turners created this policy, and we've persevered by the donations of time, labor, and other necessary resources by our members. We won't connect the dollar amount to the support. It's done with the belief that we can accomplish something that some thought was impossible. Now, recently, one of our team members read a statement from our organization concerning the advertisement of wood turning meetings, publications, or events which are paid per view. The statement was made to clarify the policies of the absolutely free wood turning club. Worldwide Wood Turners will not permit advertising of such events, either on the live program or the chat feature of the program. We welcome the input and support from all the wood turners and some seasoned demonstrators who have joined us in our program to support our policies. We welcome them, thank them for their participation. This practice is in line with our core beliefs. We share wood turning for wood turners without restrictions or limitations. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan, moderator, Worldwide Wood Turners. That's your wood turning club. I just didn't have the right button clicked. You know how it goes. But we like to get that clear. When I say we got bombarded, we get bombarded because we're a totally free entity. But I said earlier, if you know of another totally free place that folks can go to enjoy and share information on wood turning, we want to know about it. Now, speaking of that, because I was talking about it, I have a poll here to ask you about. Oh, it's not here. I'll be doggone. I loaded the wrong program. What I wanted to do was ask you about MailChimp. I'll do it another time, okay? It's not critical. We want to share in our newsletter. Let's go back to our video in our gallery section because I got another thing about tool use. Who's up, Dale? Dane? Dane? Might have kicked him off.
There we go. Kevin Carpenter should be up, but I'm not seeing him in the list.
Okay, Kevin, talk. If you bail out, we can't find you. Okay.
All right. We'll bail out and let's jump over to Dave Leader. He's got something else. Go ahead, Dave.
I've shown before these little pots were holders for the air plants. It's something that my wife wants to sell at craft shows. And so this one is made out of tulip maple and it's finished with a sanding sealer and some Aussie finish. So it's just a little urn, a little mug representation. I don't know, what do you call it?
What do you have on it for a finish, Dave?
Aussie.
Okay.
Aussie oil.
Now, that plant doesn't get watered, right?
Yeah, you have to water them. Carol's got instructions that she's going to give out. She puts a pot of a tray of water in the kitchen, and then she puts them in this way. And apparently they gain the water through the needles, not through the root. And then they can sit without water for a week.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd only check. Last week we were accused of being meteorologists. Tonight we'll be horticulturalists. What else you have, Dane?
We got Mr. Doug Miller in Kentucky.
Oh, this is trouble.
Yep.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I was sharing that I had a cedar hollow form that I was taking a final cleaning up cut on the inside. Not that one more cut, but the final pass. Anyway, it blew up, and so I jumped right back on the horse, got another piece of cedar, same tree, not the same chunk, but a same tree, and just made another one. Not very thick, pretty thin all the way through. Just a nice little utility bowl out of cedar.
What do you have finished on it?
That is abrasive wax or abrasive paste and then wax.
All right, it's pretty,
And,
really nice.
It looks
two
good.
coats of two coats of high gloss wax to get that shine on there. But it's like most cedar. It's got, I don't know if you can see it. There's a crack that was naturally occurring in the wood even before I turned it, and we just had to deal with it. Just the way cedar is sometimes.
Yep, it's funny. You'd be turning it, put it, walk away, and you hear it crack when you walk away.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you, Doug. And Doug is a real good contributor to our newsletter and website photographs. And we're going to ask you folks if you jump on board with that. We collect and share photographs of your work. And since I can't come by your house, and that's your wife's preference, we'd like you to send us the photograph. Take the picture and send it to us. Make sure we see the whole piece. Now, if you give me the whole room and the whole piece, it's kind of hard for me to crop down. So I want to see the whole piece. But tell me what it is, and make sure you add your name. I got, a whole bunch of folks in this month that gave me one name, and it might be their nickname. Really not the way. Come on, put your real name on it. You're proud of it. Who else do we have, Dane?
We are at a dry spell at the moment.
Great. All right. Not great, but hey, we got some other stuff to talk about. I was talking earlier about things that we have going on, and some items, and we're working on this all the time. Right now, we're at 97 participants. We're locked out at 100, but we're working on improving that. But I'm going to go to one here, see if I can get this up, and this is what we should be looking at. All right, this is what I would call tool talk. If you got a better name for it, that's great. I'll go along with it. But we're going to talk about new and strange tools that you can build yourself, or tools we just have questions about. You know, what is this? Where did it come from? And what's it for? And that's why we're going to do this. Now, I'm starting out with a finial gouge, because a guy said last week, where do I find one of these? This finial gouge came from the auto parts store by the house, and it's a hardened rod used in repairing supports and braces for cars. And it's been a simple grind across the top and a simple bevel on the bottom. It slices like nobody's business, and it's simple to make, simple to maintain. And you want to go back to that bevel to sharpen it. You want to sharpen right across that top edge and get a good slicing cut out of it. And then we always talk about steady rest. Our folks, we just saw Trey using his fingers to a steady rest. Now, this won't work like Trey's fingers will work, because it's more complex than that, but it's doing, if you're doing a pool cue, you need a good solid rest in the center of that thing to kick the wobble out. Well, this one is shop made with a couple of straps of iron, a couple of carriage bolts, and some roller skate wheels. So it is possible. Here's another one that's pretty much a plywood item. It's got the same kind of holding concept, using, again, roller skate wheels, a smaller version or bearings on that one. And here's a third one using the same thing. I hadn't found out where those rollers are from. I like that idea. In fact, this guy's doing a pool cue of all things. This is a ball for hollowing. Now, if you want to hollow out a ball to make an ornament out of it or whatever, lessen the weight, this is the way to hold it. And you can find these parts at the hardware store. Take a sample ball with you when you go buy it, so you only got to buy it once. But what is this hole in the center for? You take a good hard look at it, and when you get the right answer, you know what it is, let us know. Here's a reversing pad.
I tell you what it is. It's for Chinese, the Chinese ball.
I thought you'd give me a
It's a
minute.
ball within a ball within a ball.
That's it. It's a ball and a ball and a ball with a ball in the middle of it. Is that the guy that put that out for a long time, Phil Holder? Had that tool. I've got a couple of them. I made a couple of these balls. They're very challenging, extremely challenging.
Yes, they are.
Pardon?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Here's a reversing pad. Put a handle on that red thing, and you know where you used that before. I never want to see another one in my life where would use it like it's intended. But that's a good hold back for us parts that you've done. Sort of like some of those pieces that Doug Miller's done recently with a nice small hole in the top of it. Well, you got to hold it to turn it around. There you go. You won't mark it all up. And for you guys that worried about getting into cost of pen drilling and all the toys and all that you need, we're going to cover pen drilling in one of these programs. But this is a simple, don't worry about the 45s. You don't need all that. It can be even simpler than that. But it uses that jam chuck, that jam latch to hold your piece in the bottom. And if you bolt it down on your lathe, they'll all be centered. If you want to play crazy, you can just leave it loose and move it around till you hit the center. This is something that you see in catalogs. They're all over the place. Everybody and their brothers got a rig for it. How do you set the bucket down here on the bottom of this piece? How do you set this bucket to get the right angle when you grind something? Well, there it is. It's right there. It's simple to build. It matches the curve of your wheel, and you go down and you plop the bucket in place. Now, this is not the jig to grind on it. Say you're sticking a Wolverine or something in it. This bucket's got to be at the right position to get the right cut. Now, if that worked, here's another one. Similar, but you're working off of a table, off a platform. Same thing. You curve the wheel and you get it. Again, curve the wheel and you get it how it sets up. Here's an off-center spindle. I'm looking for information on how this thing works. A guy has offered to give me one, but I can't figure out how it works. Trey, I'll let you do that. And now my last one, or one of my last ones. We watched a guy online cutting out boxes and bowls and spindles and all kinds of work. He's from Russia. And he's using almost this identical tool right here. And when I say he's making slicing cuts down the outside of a spindle or a bowl, he is making slicing cuts. That's unbelievable. But get this, he goes left and right without changing the position of the tool. With a twist of the wrist, he turns it on and turns it off. If you know what it is, where we can get it at, I'd like to know more about it. Number one, I'd like somebody to show us how it works. One-on-one, so we can ask the question. If you got something to add, something you want to ask about, you got a photo in the description or just a comment, hey, the hell is that? We'll be glad to listen to you and respond if we can. We're working on a couple of other versions of this because we're all here to share information. Dane, I understand there's a couple of people in the bullpen right now.
Yes, we have Billy. Let me see if we can jump to him real quick.
This Billy?
Let's see, which Billy?
I turned this little fella a couple of days ago. It's in time for Halloween. Made a little ghost. It's pecan, a very dry, very hard pecan. I tried a white stain. It didn't work real well, so I ended up putting some white acrylic paint on it. And then cut it back with 320 sandpaper and shot it with semi-gloss lacquer. But it's not just this little turning, it's a box.
No.
So you got this little box made of, and this is mesquite, that just friction fits right up in there. And to turn it loose, you just tap it, and out she comes.
I was sitting
That's cool.
Sure, the second thing was it was a bottle stopper. You know?
Yeah, and it's about 6 inches tall. I power carved the, I guess the flutes in it for the flowing of the ghost sheet kind of thing. That's it.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it. Folks, we get a lot of comments on the chat tonight about the way we do gallery. And the way we're doing gallery is you're not getting shortcut. When you say I have a gallery item, Dane puts you on a list. Now, when we go to you, if you're not there, we go to the next one. In case you get go to sandwich or nature calls or whatever. Dane, we have more in the bullpen, right?
Yes, sir. We're going to jump over to Stephen Ogle now. Steve, you're up.
Steve, you have
Hey, how y'all doing? All right. Last week, you guys asked what was on my lathe. Well, I finally got it finished. It's sitting right here. It's a 17-inch ingrain cedar bowl. And I lost my Wi-Fi last week, so I'm not moving my computer again. But yeah, it turned out pretty nice. It's sand and sealer finish, lacquer-based sand and sealer, and just min wax, finished paste wax finish.
Really nice. I love the color.
Awesome. Yeah, cedar's always pretty. But there were a lot of repairs. You know, you were talking just a minute ago about cedar itself. This was all really funky, all this right here and down in this area. And all the cracks developed while I was turning it. But all those are repaired and stabilized. So, but yeah, all it needs now is I've got to buff it, but it's almost finished.
Looks good, Steve. Really good.
Very nice.
I also tried using the gold. I saw somebody on YouTube using it. You carve your name in with a Dremel or whatever, and you paint it in there gold, and then you sand it back off. It turned out pretty good. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
That's it. Ingrain's tough to turn.
Yeah, it sure is. It'll teach you. If not, it'll teach you something. All right.
Yeah.
Checking here, we had somebody answer my question already about what was that tool, and he called it a skew cheek gouge. Skew cheek gouge. That was Paul Daniel out of Merritt Island, Florida. So I love the way you get that thing at. And I got to appreciate all the folks that help us do this. Martin Clarkson is in Europe. Well, maybe not Europe, he's in England. And he helps us out a lot, helps coordinate the program and get things going. We have Doug Rowe. I didn't see Doug on the list earlier, but I see him on the chat, so he's in there too. Ronnie Bonnet does it. Dane does it. We have a handful of guys. I call them co-hosts because that's what the program calls them. But they all jump on board and help us put this thing together every week. So when you come to the program and you go to chat or anything else, I can't be watching that and doing this. So we've got other folks with assignments that do just that. So if you have a suggestion, a question, you got a piece, the way to go about it is put it in the chat. And like if you got a gallery, Dane does it. If you got information, we got somebody else doing it. If you violate our rules about advertisement, we got somebody else that does it. Dane, you got anybody else up right now?
Yes, sir. We're going to jump to Cade Folger. Cade, you're up.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hope
Cade.
all is well. I got contacted by a photographer, and she's doing a wedding shoot with a Viking theme. So they wanted a whole bunch of utilitarian hardware like goblets, salad bowls, plates, shallow bowls. So I have a few items here that I'll show you, and then I'll talk about the last two items as well.
Okay, go ahead. You're on.
So here is a flared rim with a beaded rim shallow bowl. This piece here is made out of cherry. The piece right next to it is a beaded rim, 3-inch deep salad bowl made out of ambrosia maple. And then right next to that, I have 2 goblets for the bride and groom. I was really excited when they asked me to make some goblets. I was like, oh, I can make some really fancy ones. But they said, no, just some really clean, simple, sleek goblets. So these are what I made for them.
Very nice. Good lines.
Thank you. These are ash, ambrosia maple, cherry. And this piece here, this afternoon, I did a IRD, an interactive remote demo. And I turned this piece, which is a thin wall, footed bowl with a flared lip at the top. This was my showpiece, and this was the piece that was turned in the demo. So the piece I showed what we were gonna make is made out of brown maple. And the piece I used to do the demo, I used sapele. And during demos, it's kind of boring and not fun to watch people sand. So this bowl here is straight off the tool with a couple tool marks in it, if you look really closely. And that will also go in the mix for the Viking photo shoot because they want it to be rustic and not shiny. A lot of my work is very shiny. You can almost see yourself in it. So this sort of bit of work that I'm doing for them will be a very matte finish.
Very nice. Jade, Kate, we have a question about the finish on the inside of the goblets. What are you using? Hello? Did you catch me? What are you using to finish the inside of the goblet?
Oh, I will be using epoxy.
Okay. That was on chat. That's why we're trying to get it out there.
Yeah, a food safe epoxy. And what I've heard across the markets that once past the incubation period of epoxies, they're food safe.
Okay,
So
thank you.
You can pretty much pick any epoxy on the market at your preference.
Yeah, if it's old in America, it'll go that way.
Yeah, same here in Canada.
Oh yeah, I forgot what you're looking at.
Go ahead.
From Matt Harbor, he says he's using Minwax Helmsman Spar Urethane Clear Gloss. It's what folks make, what folks use to make wood fittings for boats. So there you have it. We have another product come up, and that's why we get together here, is to get the information together and share it with you. It's what, just about 8 o'clock.
Hey, Eddie, Matt Harbor here. I tried several different epoxies, and I had problems with people wanting to use coffee and hot tea in them. So I switched to using the Helmsman Spar Urethane after that, because the epoxies kind of tend to run when things get hot.
Yeah, or delam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lady, I sold a family a big salad bowl. I'm talking 20, 24 inches across. Big salad bowl. And about a month later, a lady called me up and said, "You won't believe what the dishwasher did to that thing."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Blame it on the dishwasher, not the loose nut using it. All right, we got anybody else up? I see, wait, didn't I see Mark Soleil in there a minute ago?
Yeah, I was querying Mark. I think maybe he ran down to get something.
Oh, okay, good. We'll take,
No,
there he is. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mark.
I was turning some bowls today. So I've got shavings all over the place.
Ah.
But I turned some cabbage maple, and I turned I don't know, 5 or 6 mimosa bowls. I don't know if anybody's ever turned mimosa. It's gorgeous. I can just go out up here. I can show you real quick.
You're almost in the dark, Mark.
Oh,
Oh, you are in the dark.
turn the light on. Yeah, I am in the dark. I was sitting there in my chair. Let me go out here, turn on the light, and
Okay, I got a couple. While you're doing that, I've got something in. Steve Ogle to everybody says Aluminite Amazing Clear Cast is good for hot liquids. You see, we keep getting this stuff in here. All right. What you got, Mark?
Hey, you can see the mess. Here's the bowls I turned today.
Nice.
This is mimosa. You see, it's got a real pretty grain.
Like got a bow tie in the center.
What?
I love that grain.
A little bit, yeah. Here's another one. This is, it started to oxidize a little bit, but that's cabbage leaf maple. When it's not oxidized, after I sand it, each one of the growth rings has a black stain in it. You can see on the outside of this one. See that? It's going to be
Great color inside, really.
right. That is what we call cabbage leaf maple. You can see the little dark line.
That is wicked.
I have never seen that.
I haven't either.
And yeah, there's one. You can see the little grain lines. And when this is done oxidizing, you know, when you sand it, when it dries, all those will stand out, and it looks like here's one that's side grain. See, you can see on the ends. Really pretty.
It's ambrosia maple.
Yeah, y'all have to excuse my drooling.
Right.
Wipe your chin, guys.
This is not just ambrosia. It's got some ambrosia beetles in it, but it's what we call the cabbage leaf because of those. You see those dark.
Yeah.
When I finish one, I'll show it to y'all. But
and that would, and Mark, that would be caused by the beetle's feces left behind and the spalting of the wood, correct?
This has nothing to do with the beetles, right? This comes from a swampy area. When they grow down in a swamp. Let me just get a couple of these up here.
Okay.
There you go. See, but isn't that pretty? Now
Yeah.
the only thing that you can't do with mimosa, you cannot sell these products for use with food, right? Because mimosa is toxic to most animals.
Yeah.
So
beautiful stuff.
You can make them for show. So these are just roughed out stuff. I've cleaned up most of the mess. You can see what happens in here. Anyway, that's what's happening in this crazy shop today. So
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. And folks, Mark Delay's got some great videos and information on wood slicing. Yes, we call him the wood slicer, not the wood turner, the wood slicer. Paul Barn has posted up something just a moment ago. It says, I can't barely give that ambrosia maple away. He's got to be joking. He's got
weird.
Yeah, I know where he lives. It's just a long drive. We're almost still up at capacity.
I took all I could fit in the car.
Yeah. Hold on. What you got, Doug?
Matt was out yesterday, and I was making jokes to him because he didn't take enough of it. I had a pile of ambrosia maple.
Tell you this, that choke cherry is spectacular, Dave. Doug, don't burn it, man.
It's already gone.
All right, let's jump to Bob Moffett. He's got something to show.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing, Bob?
Hey, how you doing? I've got this is a piece of sapele I did, and I textured the rim and painted it black and then sanded it back. It's about 9 inches. And this is that piece of that, it's a 12-inch salad bowl. I have that piece of ambrosia maple.
Is it dishwasher safe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just run through the dishwasher and buy another one. And then this is a walnut bowl that I did. It's about 11 inches. I put a little rim on it and a little textured bead on the side of it. A little textured on
like the bead.
base side.
All right.
A lot of accent there. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
And that's it.
All right,
Thank
sir.
That was nice, Bob.
Thank you.
All right, Ronnie.
Ronnie's here. Hey, Ronnie.
Hello there.
Good
I have
evening.
a piece to show tonight. It cooled off, so I went out in the shop. In New Orleans, all your old houses, the sills were made out of longleaf pine. My son-in-law is a carpenter, and he got a piece of that longleaf pine, and he made somebody a mantel for their house. And he had a cutoff that was about 2 foot long and 10 inches wide. So he brought it over, and he wanted me to make the customer something. And this is what I made him. It's a bowl with a lid. It's longleaf pine. These houses were built back in the 1800s. So you can see the wood.
It's tight grain for the
It
growth
has
grain.
top.
It probably smelled like a can of kerosene when you were cutting it.
And this is finished with CA. 1 coat of 3408 Parsons on it and buff. This is the easiest finish you could ever do to a piece.
It is lovely, sir. It
Yeah,
is
it's really pretty.
We're going to have a photograph of this piece, plus the log and how we chucked it up in next month's edition, or this month's edition of the newsletter. Ronnie sent it to us, and we welcome that from other folks. If you can show us the before and after, or process how you hold it.
The black spots on it were the nails that were driven into the sills, and they rusted over the years, and it stained the wood.
It's called character. Thank you, Ronnie. That is some beautiful, bud.
All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your involvement tonight. Remember, folks, just what I said was, I have the saying that says, if you can hold it, you can turn it. Now, earlier, Trey showed us how to hold a finial using a set of jaws and a dowel or a plug or whatever you wish to do, and held it there. And with that rubber ducky thing or chucky thing, he stabilized the end of it so you can do some good clean slices. That's what we want to show. I've made wooden dead men like that and not very happy with it. So I like to change back to showing people new gizmos, new gadgets, but we're not commercial. If you have it, we can probably find it from more than one source. Let me see what else we got up by, Dane.
Now we've got everybody ran through at the moment.
Good. All right. Remind folks again that if you know of free demos on Zoom that folks can tune in and watch, we'd love to know about them. I'd like to share them and get it out. I just saw somebody talk to Doug Polebarn about something he did last week with the shine juice and doing a finish on stuff. And that's what we're out to do. I'm going to take about 1 minute here or so and show you a little something, because we keep, we trying to, whoop, yeah, we can do this. And hi, I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and I have a statement concerning our wood turning club. Worldwide Wood Turners were created just over a year ago with one thought in mind: a wood turning club for everybody. The intent was fairly simple. We would create an organization of wood turners who wish to share their ideas, projects, turnings, and even problems. Furthermore, we'll be free from the bindings of the almighty dollar by being completely self-supportive. This simply means that we will not require or support the expense of registration, membership dues, magazines, or any other charge. Worldwide Wood Turners is based on the support of our membership and their commitment to wood turning. Now, being free of financial support is one bold undertaking. Worldwide Wood Turners created this policy, and we've persevered by the donations of time, labor, and other necessary resources by our members. We won't connect the dollar amount to the support. It's done with the belief that we can accomplish something that some thought was impossible. Now, recently, one of our team members read a statement from our organization concerning the advertisement of wood turning meetings, publications, or events which are paid per view. The statement was made to clarify the policies of the absolutely free wood turning club. Worldwide Wood Turners will not permit advertising of such events, either on the live program or the chat feature of the program. We welcome the input and support from all the wood turners, and some seasoned demonstrators have joined us in our program to support our policies. We welcome them, thank them for their participation. This practice is in line with our core beliefs. We share wood turning for wood turners without restrictions or limitations. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan, moderator, Worldwide Wood Turners. That's your wood turning club. Thank you for being patient with us. It was important that we clarify that because as the world has changed, the world of wood turning has changed, the world of communication has changed. I have doctor's appointments this week with different people for something, and half of them are coming virtual. So I don't need to be exposed to people in a doctor's office. And I'm just shocked when you go to some of them and you have to hear people say, hey, mask up, mask up, mask up. You're in a hospital and they're asking you to mask up. But as far as video goes, there's a lot of information out there. You need to share it with us. Let us know. Again, I have to thank Andy Phillips for his Freedom Pens. Is the first sergeant with us tonight?
I'm here.
There he is.
I'm here.
What's up, Doug?
Hey, I'm trying to work on something right now, and it's, of course, not working. But
Okay.
yes, I am here.
Okay, we're looking to see another little quick demo from you tonight, but I guess
I'm trying.
you're trying. All right.
I'm trying.
Eddie, let's go to Kentucky and see if Doug Miller's got anything to show.
Doug Miller?
I never have anything to show, Jump. You know that by now. Had a piece of cherry, just an outer bark piece that was sitting under my lathe for a while. So I decided to throw it up the other night. Ended up with this 9.5 by 2 1/4 bowl. As you can see, there's lots of movement. There's spalting. There's a little bit of burl. There's some rot. Just plain old rot. That's what happened here. There's also a piece on the bottom edge right here. There you can see it, I think. Really bad piece. Again, just abrasive paste and then wax on that. Just keeping the finish real simple right now. Let that wood speak to you. So, but it really had no problems other than just getting it started. Once it got started, it really turned out nicely.
There's not a but. Folks think loading it up with finish is often great for a piece, but on a piece like that, it's not great.
Right.
Doug, what is that wood?
Cherry. It is cherry. As I turned it, it definitely smelled like Luden's cough drops there for a while.
Okay.
There's
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
There's got another piece here real quick.
All right.
And Eddie, I think you saw this. This is a piece of oak. Some of the reclaimed wood that I got from a skid reclamation company up the road. Really nasty piece. It had some cracks and checks on the inside. Not that I could see until I cut into them. But did this one with the Shishugi band technique where all this outside was burned, sanded back. added some blue dye to it, and then this metallic iridescent turquoise wax on top of that in that open grain that was opened up by the burning. It came out really nice. This is really, you can still feel some of the texture, but it has smoothed out and gotten really soft on the outside. Feels really good. Was a lot of fun to do.
Good accents, really good accent. Sparkle.
Oh yeah,
Gives it
that's
something
really
to-
pretty, Doug.
Yeah.
Gives it something to look at anyway.
Thank you, but Doug Miller, and if you folks got something like that to show, we'd love to see it. I have a question in here from Brenda Thornton. Says, how did Doug's colored pencil form come out? I think.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. I can go grab it. So it needs more resin. When I pulled it out of the pot, the pencil soaked in more than I anticipated, but I got it right here. I can show y'all. I said that. Now where did I put?
Right on your table. On the table.
My wife says I put it on the table. Here it is. Got it. You got me, Eddie?
I got you. I don't see any piece that you turned.
Okay. Oh, I haven't turned it yet. It's still a blank. I'm still seeing you though, so I don't know if anybody's.
I see the piece. Put the piece back up by your mug.
Oh, there you go. So let me put the phone back in the tripod so I can use two hands. Oh, there we go. Now I see me. So this is all flat straight across, but you can see my fingers go in here. So the resin dropped down a little bit further than I wanted, but it's close enough I can show you. So this is why I like using this tinfoil stuff. It pretty much comes off this easy.
Did you put it under pressure, Doug?
Right. But there you go. It's a nice block that I could either cut up into the pen blanks or whatever. But like I said, this is going to get turned around and I'll turn it into a snowman. But there's a better angle. You can see where the resin dropped down. So these top pencils wouldn't really hold tight. If I tried to turn that,
Did you put it in a pressure pot or leave it out to dry?
This one did go in a pressure pot.
Cool.
Yeah. I just didn't get enough resin in there. I was rushing too fast.
Okay.
Hey, Eddie, earlier tonight in the chat, there was a question about how a bowling ball is held, and Paul Mcdaniel has offered to show his method.
Paul McDaniel?
I can show my method too if you like.
Okay, let's go. We got Paul McDaniel up on the screen.
Yeah, I need to show us share screen in order to show it.
All right, now we should be able to share screen. There we go.
That's I started out cutting pen blanks, and I was looking for a cheap source of acrylic. I saw a bowling ball one day, and I thought, well, I'm going to chop that up and use the acrylic. So I used a 2x12 or 2x10 on each end, scooped a little bit out, put some double stick tape in it, and stuck the ball in there and let her spin. I used a handheld hacksaw blade to cut the slices, and that's how I hold it on the lathe. And
Where did you get the bowling ball from?
Thrift store for about $3.
Thank you.
And this is one of the bowls I made out of it. And I cut the bowling pin legs out of corian.
We can't see the bowl. It stayed on the lathe photo.
Let me go back to meeting, Zoom. Now let's see if I can get back. How do I get off of that?
So bring up your next picture.
Cancel the share screen, then share the window you want to. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
The bowling pig legs are about 1.25 inches tall. They're just tall enough to hold it up off the table.
That is good.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. We really appreciate you sharing that with us. That's nice. Who said they also
I
had-
will add this, if you don't mind. With bowling ball blanks or with bowling balls, I used to cut up, and this is like 15 years ago, I was cutting up a lot of bowling balls for pin blanks, and some bowling balls, for whatever reason, the material will get really, really oil soaked if it's a really old ball, or if it's fairly old, and it's really hard to get glue or anything to stick to it. So you want to be careful. You can actually see some of the oil weeping out of it as you start to work it. Some of the prettiest bowling balls that I've worked with were made from, oh crap. It's a hard rubber. What's the name of that? No, urethane works well, but
Bakelite.
them.
Bakelite.
Oh, poo. I'll remember in a minute and I'll put it in the chat.
Bakelite.
No, not Bakelite.
Okay, you gonna put it in the chat though?
Yeah, if I can remember what it is.
Okay. And I think we had one more about the bowling balls, didn't we, Kate?
Yes.
There he is. Yeah, Kate had it.
Yeah, I did. Let me see what my device is at. I might be able to get downstairs quick and plugged in before it dies. Actually, no, it won't let me. I just unplugged it from the wall and it said I had 30 seconds. So unfortunately, all my devices are dead right now. I'll be able to talk about it next week. No problem at all.
We're looking for it, okay? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
It's 23 after the hour. We got a few more minutes.
Hey, Eddie, I'll go ahead and I'll set a bowling ball up real quick. So talk for a few minutes and I'll let you know when I have it set up.
All right, we got 5-10 minutes, and we'll do that. We're supposed to stop at 8:30, but Doug's usually the last one out the door, which is okay. It's just as long as they don't tell those stories again. Well, all right. Still got 91 folks in the pool. I have to tell you, folks, all night long, I tell you that we need more voices. Just now we said bowling balls. We had 4 different pieces of input regarding bowling balls. And I'd like to hear more about that because it all gave us something to think about, gave us something to consider. Somebody one day told me there's solid resin and you can get all these pen blanks out of them. That's not solid resin. It's a little bit disappointing. Who's back with?
Yeah, no.
Billy, what you got?
Yeah, the ebonite was it. It was ebonite. It's a hard rubber. The multicolored stuff is really pretty. I used to cut mine up on I made a sled for holding the ball in the same kind of a hollow that he used on the lathe, except I made it a sled and put it on my bandsaw. I would hot glue the ball into the sled and slice it up. The only problem is that internal material is not resin. And depending on what it is and what brand of ball you're working, it'll dull a bandsaw blade in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it will. Well, I found I learned.
I'm set up now.
We just got something in. Josh says, if you take a 5-gallon bucket of warm water with Dawn dish soap, that was an endorsement right there. It'll pull the oil out of that bowling ball. Also, I got to mention, if you got anything with oil and you put Dawn on it, the oil's coming out, from ducts to tires to everything else. Most of the core in older bowling balls was hard rubber. Oh, y'all jumping on the bus. Anybody else up, Dane?
I'm set up if you want to go back to me.
Oh, wait. Yeah, let's go to Doug. Doug?
Yep, I'm here. Okay, so I don't have a fancy way of doing this, and I have only done it once. This will be the next bowling ball that I do. What I found the inside was like talcum powder. It was hard, or I should say hard because it was actually soft to turn. It was solid, though. It was a solid material. But as I turned it, it just turned to talcum powder all over my whole shop. But I literally just put it between centers and turned me a tenon on one side like I would any other piece of wood, flipped it around and put it back in my chuck, and used a parting tool and went in and parted off wherever I wanted my lid to be, and then got it down to a certain point. Then I used the saw to cut it off, set that off to the side. That was my lid. And then I was turning the other half of the ball in a chuck. It was user error, but mine did come out of the chuck. It did cause the wife to come running out to see if I was okay. It was pretty loud when it came off. And behind that workbench, which wasn't there at the time, there is a hole in the wall. But at any rate, it is that simple. You just got to play with it till you find it. And I could probably adjust this a little bit more to get it better centered. There's my high dollar price tag from the thrift store where I bought mine at $5.99. But that's my recommendation. If you're going to try and turn a bowling ball, good ventilation, have your dust collector going. It was the messiest thing I've ever done.
Thank you, Doug. That's what we do. See, instantaneous tips and hints. Now,
so I do have one other thing. Is Kim tipping on?
I'm all
Kim
set
was
up now.
Kim?
Yeah. Well, at any rate, Kim and I were talking about something during the week, and with it being the 1 year happy birthday of Worldwide Woodturners, I was trying to come up with a way of making some sort of cake. And I thought from a wood turning point of view, a cake is basically a lidded pot, right? So this is what I've been working on since you guys started the meeting, and I haven't been participating much because I was trying to finish.
I'm eating the birthday cake now.
Happy birthday to you, Worldwide Woodturners. Happy birthday to you, Worldwide Woodturners. Happy 1 year birthday, Worldwide Woodturners. I love you and thank you for letting me part of your group. So there it is, lidded pot with our logo on top.
Okay.
And here's how clear I got that resin. I want you to try and pick out any bubble in that resin. You will not find one. The truth is, because there's no resin on there yet, that's just a piece of paper. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. I'm all set up and ready here. I logged on with another device so I could.
Okay.
There we go.
Dane, can you get them up? There
Yeah,
we
I got
are.
it. Hey. All right. So what I do is I mount the ball right on the part of the headstock where the chuck would actually screw on. There's a 3/4 inch hole in there which actually follows the curve of this cup. In holding that perfectly flat on that curve or that cup, you can bring your tailstock up. It finds the center automatically and it's perfectly centered. At this point, I would make a tenon here. I would then throw it in my chuck and I would part through. The bottom half would become a bowl. I could actually make both tenons right now at the exact same time, part through slightly with a parting tool, and then use a sawzall or a hacksaw to get through as well. But I have also used another method where I take the bandsaw, I take this piece, and I take an old scrap piece of plywood, about 1 foot long or 1.5 feet. These are the small balls. If you're doing the big balls, you'll need a bigger piece of plywood for a sled. So what I do is I drill a 2-inch Forstner hole in the piece of plywood. In the middle of that piece of plywood. I stick this in the hole with a bit of hot melt glue, and I go straight through the board, straight through the bowl into the other side of the board. And then I have my 2 halves safely, and I can cut a sphere safely on the bandsaw. If I did that and I cut it on a bandsaw, I would then take 1/2. Here it is here, actually. I have it right here. So here's my fancy little jig I use to cut it on the bandsaw. I throw the bowling ball in the first hole, and I use this piece of wood to guide it through the bandsaw, and I'm allowed to cut it safely. If I did it that way and cut it safely on the bandsaw, I would use my center finder to find the center now, and I would use a faceplate. At that point, I would mount this onto my tailstock, turn a 10 in on the bottom of the bowl, clean up the outside. I wouldn't really modify the shape because I would want to keep the shape of the bowling ball just with a foot or a flat bottom. And then I would flip it, take the faceplate off, stick it in a chuck, and I would turn the inside of the bowl. I have a finished one upstairs if you guys want to see.
Why don't we put that in gallery next week if you don't mind?
Okay, perfect. No problem.
And remember, folks, he did say he glues that ball to that sled.
Yes, I just put a couple dabs of hot melt glue just on either side of that Forstner bit, and it keeps it from rolling. And also when I'm cutting the piece, you have to be mindful of where your fingers are. So I would hold the piece on either side, here and here. You don't want to wrap your fingers over or hold the ball up here because you might accidentally cut your thumb concentrating on holding the sphere in place and not getting a catch.
That's why the hot glue is so critical,
Yeah.
because if anything you cut that's round, there's a chance that the teeth on the saw will grab it and spin it.
And it rolls your hand into the blade, so I've heard.
Yes,
and
yes,
seen.
there's no kickback on a bandsaw.
No.
Right. Yeah, my jig was very much like Cade's.
All right.
Hey, Eddie, I just went ahead and set mine up exactly like Cade was talking about. So if you guys want to see it turn
We're back looking at it.
for a minute.
We were.
Yeah, it's like virtually perfectly centered and
Yeah,
balanced.
no, it's set up really fast for me. That was a cool little tip.
'Cause I found it.
I pulled the spur drive out and stuck it right on the spindle, like you said.
Yep. I find that's the easiest way to find center is if I'm going to mount the whole ball. It's almost, you'd be chasing your tail to make one pinhole and to try and find center on the opposite side of that bowl to make it perfectly balanced. But in using the cup on your headstock threading, it's balanced perfectly every time.
Yeah, so, okay, there we go. I'm up. Let me turn the speed all the way down to 0, lay this on. Shield is down just in case.
Just in case, Doc.
And that's
Notify your wife, Doug.
right there.
Very nice.
We'll take it up.
It's not much wobble at all.
That's 800 right there. Well, 789.
Yep.
829.
That's all you need.
And sometimes if you're a little nervous, if you're nervous about doing that and you think that the ball might not have enough grip up against the contact of that metal, use a piece of router mat up against the ball and the cup. It won't go anywhere at all. But even, I've never had problems just using it up against the tailstock. But if people are nervous, just a little bit extra stick with a router mat works great.
Good idea.
Nice, nice.
Oh, there it is. That's a pretty good method. I like holding it like that.
Got a couple of questions on
There's
chat.
the start of the 10, and that's good enough for tonight.
Mike Morris has got a question. Do you know how to save a chat on an iPad? So if
You actually can't do it on an iPad or a cell phone. You can only do it on a laptop or a PC.
I can download it for you and send you a file in chat that you can click and then download that.
Yep, that'd be great.
How about that?
I've been taking screenshots of the chat.
Okay, well,
I've been taking the chat and just copying it into Word, doing a copy on it, and then paste it into Word.
Right, but now it's not available on the iPad or an Android.
If you're on an iPad or an Android, whatever message you want to save, just take your finger and hold your finger on the message. It will give you the option to copy it to your clipboard, and then it will be saved in your iPad or your cell phone, and you can search it later off your clipboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that bowling balls all in one evening. We're rocking and rolling.
But that's just for one message, right?
Yes.
That would be one for one specific message. So if there's multiple messages, you would copy it multiple times, and you would have to go through your clipboard to find that message.
Now, we've been adding the chat to our website. Is that right, Charlie? Charlie's
So the chat's on the website.
I'm sorry, I thought our web, well, wait. Kim just
Yeah,
posted it.
we are saying it on the website, and it's right. Well, I'm find it. You just stick it on the left, right on the right margin of the meeting page, and it says chat data. And you can click on the chat data, and it has all the chats for the last set of meetings.
Okay, well, thank you.
Started saving them.
It's there. We got one of the finest websites in the entire world, and it's full of wood turning stuff.
I see that.
All right. And if you have something you want to add to that, it's your wood turning club. Add it. We got a few more minutes before we have to shut it down. I'm supposed to.
Okay, hey, I just tested it on my iPhone. So I went to the chats. I held down the one about the dish detergent. I put my finger on it. It copied. Then I went back to my desktop on my phone, scrolled over to where it says notes, opened up the notes, held my finger in there, and it gave me the option to paste it.
Yep. Or you have the option to open your clipboard, and if you copied multiple messages, you can go through the clipboard and pick exactly which one you want.
Got it.
Oh, there's a couple options for y'all.
We need an IT guy to explain all this. Oh, wait, we have one. Gerald says a lot less damage if it goes airborne. I guess he means if the chuck doesn't leave it too, or the spur. My wife's got a new policy concerning that. If I'm going to do something like that, I'm supposed to call her attorneys. It makes it simple, I guess. Anybody else up for gallery tonight?
No, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I got one more thing if y'all want to see it.
Sure, Matt.
Matt?
Yep. I ran a texturing class for some friends the other day, and this is the thing I did with it, showing some of the various texturing tools and techniques possible. So like the spiraling, the Serby spiraling, the Wagner knurling, the decorating elf. This is a Serby texturing wheel. This is the knurling tool tilted on the side. This was the Serby micro, and this was the decorating elf in the center. So just a bunch of different textures done that could be done very easily and quickly with the texturing tools.
That's the way to go about it. Chuck a piece of wood and play with it. You don't have to do anything when you get done with it, but you'd be amazed how nice it'll come out.
Well, and the only one that didn't come out the way I wanted to was the one in blue here. I actually have two of the texturing tools, and the new one came with a sharp wheel and not the sort of rounded mellow wheel, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do, but it's an interesting texture nonetheless. So it was interesting.
It is. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. It's about time for us to wrap it up, folks. It's been a little bit more than 2 hours. We covered a lot of things tonight. We have a ton of chat. Oh, if you're on a PC and you want to save the chat, on the chat screen, there's a little square in the lower right-hand corner. You click on that, like I'm doing right now, and then there's something that says Save Chat. You click it, you have all the chat since you tuned in. Not before you tuned in, since you tuned in, because it's all your computer's going to remember. But all of this goes to our website, worldwidewoodturners.org. worldwidewoodturners.org, and our email address is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. And we do post updates and changes and all that on our Facebook pages, on our website, on YouTube, and wherever we can get the word out. And I have a little note here that says, we really need more voices. Tonight, it was awesome. It was awesome. We've only been at a year. We're getting better every time. With that, I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and I thank you for participation, for your help, and for allowing me to come into your home tonight and talk about wood turning. You take care, be good, and above all else, please be safe. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
Take
all.
care. Night, everybody. Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, Grandpa. Good night, Grandma.
Doug Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Hey,
Good night, Doug and his other brother, Doug.
Y'all have a good week.
Ogle.
Yeah, we just need
Ogle,
another
you're
Doug or two.
obligated to show us that chat or that text string to him.
The Dougs are going to take over the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently.
Have we made it through the credits yet so we can watch the trailer?
Night, Noah.
Just hit the rewind button.
No, the best part's after the trailer. Or after the credits.
Waiting on the Easter egg.
It's up right now.
Uh-oh. Let me do something after the credits. wait.
You know the rule, Doug. One dirty
Here we
story
go.
is gone.
There you go.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
David, that's all, folks.
all you need is some skirt and heels.
We do not need to see that.
Just call me Mr. Black Walnuts.
Oh.
All right. My wife's yelling that dinner's ready. Love y'all, but I love her more.
Yeah, I don't
Later,
blame you.
guys.
Good
Gotta
night.
run.